Most of you know me as Patrick from In the Garden with Patrick, but did you know that my other job is working as a doctor of physical therapy? You know, I see patients with back pain in my office every day, and I thought it would be important to talk about back pain and some tips to prevent back pain. Watch this video to the end, and I'm going to give you a fantastic exercise that you can do at home to say goodbye to back pain forever.
Gardening involves a lot of lifting, moving bags, and pulling of weeds. In the spring and fall, you'll be doing a lot of digging and getting into awkward positions. So no wonder a lot of us have and complain of back pain, and maybe back pain is preventing you from gardening. Well, there's hope, because if you use some of these tips, it will help you reduce your back pain.
Weeds, they seem to be everywhere in your lawn and garden, but how do we get rid of them? The best way is to pull them and not use pesticides to kill them. But a lot of times you can hurt your back while you're pulling weeds. So what's the easiest and best way to relieve your back pain? Well, you get somebody else to pull the weeds for you. Well, no, that's not really good either, because their back is going to be hurting too. So there's a lot of different items that you can use to save your back. The most important first is to use good body mechanics. You can use like a little kneeler, some cushion, and that saves your knees a little bit. Or you can find something online like this really cool kneeler that I found on Amazon. And this also helps with helping you stand up. You can also use it as a seat and use the same thing while you're pulling the weeds if you're not able to get down on your knees. So that's a great way of using this cool little device to save your back. Try to keep your back straight and tighten up your abdominal muscles. Here's another simple, easy way to work on weeds. If you just use a hoe, you can use that to take those weeds out of there. And look how easy that is. Good body mechanics, squatting up and down so you're not bending. Another way we can save our back, and oftentimes we'll see this when we're trying to pick our fruits or vegetables. So simple, just instead of bending forward in your potted plants, try kneeling down and using that. Better yet, we have even a better idea, which is simple, is put it up on a shelf or a table, and that way you have great body mechanics. So don't bend, twist, use some type of kneeler, or again, use good body mechanics. Keep your back as straight as possible. Tighten up your abdominal muscles while you're picking those beautiful spaghetti squash. Now you can also use long-handled tools to help you in the garden. When you're digging, instead of getting down on your knees, you can use that shovel to kind of help with your gardening activities. This is a really cool little device. It just kind of breaks up the ground. And then this is another way of keeping your back straight as you're doing that. So again, you can use that. If you do have to get inside and reach in the garden, you can use this really cool kneeler and hold on a 3-point system, something like that, so you're not having to strain your back as much, and then you get some nice fruits. So again, this is how we would loosen up the soil using that garden tool. It's very simple. And again, here's some good tips on body mechanics when you're digging. Don't do that bending forward. Look at how my back is straight as we're digging. When you're trying to dig something out, don't do this. Don't do bending of the back. Do the squat, and then that way you can turn the dirt when you're maybe doing your fall or spring gardening.
A while back, there was a study that looked at how many times a person would bend forward or flex during the day. The study found that we flex about 3,500 times a day. So imagine adding that to your bending in the garden using poor body mechanics. A lot of times people bend forward to stretch, and that feels good, but oftentimes feels good is not good for you. So we want to try to avoid bending or twisting, and try not to do any bending early in the morning. That's when our discs are full of fluid. Some other tips include having someone help you with heavy lifting and taking breaks during your gardening time. So let's go over a few positions that won't put too much stress on your back.
Kneeling, as we talked about, or half kneeling. You could also get into a 3-point reach, but always try to keep your back straight when you're reaching or getting into those awkward positions. So this is a great exercise that you can do. You can do this at home, maybe putting your back against like the kitchen counter or something along those lines. That helps to extend your back. Remember, we're flexing 3,500 times a day, and when you're in the garden and you're doing all kinds of different things, you're flexing also in that position. So what we're trying to do here is trying to reverse that, and we're going back into extension as far back as you can, and then coming back. You can do about 10 of those before and after your gardening activities. We'll show you another way how you can do that. So this is another way that you can do this exercise, just standing, putting the hands in the small of your back, and you're trying to bend back as far as you can, each time going further, further, further back. Do that about 10 times when you have back pain, but you can also do that before or after you do any of your gardening activities. Another position that you can do this exercise is on your stomach. You don't need a fancy table like we have here in physical therapy. You can do this on the floor, on your bed, on the couch, and you're just extending your arms as far as they go, relaxing the back, and coming all the way up. Same thing, you can do 10 of these repetitions and see if that helps with preventing your back pain also. If you do have any pain that goes down the legs or anything weird that's happening, please don't do this exercise.
So when is it important to see a physical therapist? You might seek help if your back pain is more than just soreness, or if it lasts more than 2 days. If the pain travels down your leg or you have numbness or tingling, it might be time to see a physical therapist. Also, if you're taking medication to help reduce pain, especially after gardening, it might be time to see a physical therapist or a doctor. Another great exercise that you can do is just a simple sit to stand exercise. Do this about 10 or 15 times. This helps strengthen up the thigh muscles, those big muscles that are in the front of your thighs that help you do good body mechanics when you're squatting to get up and down in the garden. Okay, so let's review a few tips for a healthy back when gardening. First, avoid early morning gardening or warm up by walking or doing some simple stretching before you garden. Number 2, watch your body mechanics. Keep your back straight and don't twist. Number 3, use correct posture when shoveling, tightening up your core muscles, and maybe leaning on something when you're using a 3-point stance, so that takes the pressure off of your lower back. Get some help with the hard stuff and use a kneeler or something that you can kneel on that will help protect your knees. Number 4, watch how much time you spend in the garden. Don't try to do it all in one day, and take regular breaks. Number 5, get regular exercise. You don't have to join a gym, just walk or do some squats or push-ups. And don't forget your back extension exercise. So if you learned some tips today, I appreciate you giving it a like and a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of these types of videos, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to see more Little Luna, subscribe to the channel. I'm Dr. Patrick Brandon. Until next time, happy, safe, and pain-free gardening.